Greetings to you this afternoon. The show is Aside Hot right here on Active Citizens. My name is Ifoma Oji, and I'm being joined in the studio by the ever beautiful Sharon Enim Chuku. Good afternoon, Sharon.
Good afternoon, Ifoma.
How are you doing this afternoon?
Very well, and you?
I'm doing great. Apart from, the ups and downs in Nigeria, I'm good. All right, let's move straight to today's stories. Now, in Abuja, controversy rocked the National Assembly as Ado Dogowa called for the House of Representatives to shut down until urgent action is taken to tackle insecurity, describing the nation as running in blood and tears. Dogowa argued that when citizens fear going to markets, schools, and farms, legislative business is meaningless. The Speaker, however, insists the House must remain open to find solutions, sparking a heated debate over responsibility and urgency in tackling Nigerian security crisis. Let's take a look.
The country is running in blood and tears. You cannot go, the farmers cannot go to farm. Our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here? Mr. Speaker, if the government is not prepared to actually do the right thing that will protect the lives and property of our people, I urge on you, I urge on this honorable house, as a house of the people of Nigeria, to stand up to pay the supreme cost, and that is no more than to shut this house down and to call emergency on any legislative issue and wait until the right thing is taken by the government of the day. The responsibility of security, Mr. Speaker, of course by the constitutional provisions, it is a sole responsibility, more of a sole responsibility to the center. I agree with whoever may say, of course, governors in the sub-nationals are also accountable and they must be held responsible for the security of lives and properties of their people. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in virtually all of our constituencies, given the opportunity, everyone here can rise to tell you the account of what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it is not religious. Mr. Speaker, it is not even political. This fight and this menace of insecurity in Nigeria is something that does not have any identification of one's party or one's religion or one's tribe whatsoever. It is a calculated attempt to demoralize Nigerian state. And if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, even for those of us who take politics more seriously, we'll have a very big question to answer at the end, because it is like this unnecessary insecurity going on. This is a high level of conspiracy targeting our political processes. As we are approaching 2027, Mr. Speaker, we will all be expected to have a peaceful conduct of our polls. How do you have that if our communities, local communities, are plunged into crisis, into banditry,
All right, that was quite a passionate one. It's coming from someone who maybe to an extent understood the situation and the pain Nigerians are actually plunged into or going through. Now, let me start with this. In 2014, we remember that the former administration was being critiqued by this present administration, that is by the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He was actually bashing or critiquing the government then, that is Goodluck Jonathan, and he was urging him to resign if he can't protect the lives and properties of those living in Nigeria. So now it's like the reversal is the case, and we could see that people have come out to, decry. People are asking that if there is you can't protect people, if we the House of Representatives cannot actually maybe spur the presidency to take active actions against insecurity in the land, is it not better for us to shut down the House of Representatives? Let me get your take, Sharon.
I don't know if shutting down the House would be a solution, would be a practical solution, right? We have insecurity, we have economic instability in order for us to get this running, I don't think shutting down the house is going to be the answer. I think it's filling that house up with people who have passion for Nigeria, to want to do better, people that really have the interest of Nigeria at heart, who would propose bills that would actually impact for the better the lives of Nigerians. So no, I don't think shutting it down, although I do understand that it's coming from a place of pain, where we see the fact that, like he mentioned, the senator mentioned, people are unable to access their farms, kids cannot go to school any longer, there is hunger in Nigeria, and still they are sitting every single day and not being able to do anything to change and influence that. So I do understand where that's coming from, but I'm just coming from the practical sense that it wouldn't be a great idea to shut it down completely.
Okay, now there was something he mentioned during his statement. He said that we're teetering towards 2027, that is the area of election, and if schools are not protected, if people can't go to farms, if communities cannot live safely in their homes, how are we sure that the conduct of election will be peaceful? So it may seem as though he has maybe like personal interest in 2027. That's why he's urging the presidency to take action. But I just want to ask, do you think that this statement of his will spur the president to add more pressure on the president to curb insecurity in Nigeria?
No, I don't agree with what you said about him having personal interest. I think at this point, any Nigerian that is not feeling bad and terrible about what is going on in Nigeria has to go for a whole check, because the news that we hear, this morning we heard about the priest that lost his life while still in captivity. We see videos of people being killed by bandits, churches being brought to the ground, mass burials, and I just think that is coming from a concerned Nigerian. And I think that moving forward, if we have more people, and I think already, even if without the Senator Doguwa's proposal, when we are seeing from the United States, I'm just going to tell you, in all the years since this insecurity started bedeviling this nation, when the President of the United States, President Donald Trump, came out to say what he said about the state of Nigeria and the Christian genocide, the actions that I have seen, the attempts, the effort that I have seen within a short period of time after Donald Trump made that statement, I haven't seen that in all the years combined since insecurity really started hitting Nigeria. So I think it's going to take, yes, we need more people like, that senator in the Senate to come out and speak up, and not just speaking up because it's your duty or it's your job, but because you are concerned, you're an active Nigerian.
But let's paint this picture. Imagine the House of Representatives being shut down. Do you think that it will actually spur the presidency to take actions?
Of course, it's going to be a total. This is what happens during coup. We see the parliaments being shut down during a coup. So it's just going to mean a whole lot symbolically and constitutionally as well. It's going to be, if done without a coup, it's going to be the greatest type of protest that we'll see, right? So it's something that is going to be remarkable, and something that I know that the Nigerian government cannot afford to happen. So unless a coup happens, which is not something we're looking at, but that is where we see things like that happening.
All right. Meanwhile, in the Senate, Ayinnaye Abaribe lamented the worsening security situation, warning the past lessons, including the infamous 2014 Chibok girls abduction, are still being ignored. Abaribe accused the government of selective outrage, raising old incidents while failing to prevent new kidnappings. He called for immediate action to protect citizens, insisting that silence and inaction are no longer acceptable. Let's take a look.
The writer, George Orwell, made a very profound statement, which I will quote. He says that in times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. We are being told every day to be patriotic. We are being told here that we shouldn't say anything against. We are being told that, oh, you shouldn't talk about the past. You should focus on the present. Yet, on this floor, rather than focus on what we're supposed to talk about, we go back to say, oh, during 2015, oh, the Chibok girls happened, and oh, we are now rescuing people. People were not rescued at that time. During Chibok, 17 local governments in Katsina were not having palace with bandits. People in Kebbi were not leaving all the rural areas and coming to only the urban areas to stay. People in Niger were not being kidnapped. So why do we need to? At any time we need to talk about the present issues of today. We go back to start to look for excuse for our failures of today. I only want to say, let us do the right thing. We're not blaming this government for what they are finding itself, but it is the government in power, and they should do the right thing. What are the right things? We take only one example. The governor of Kebbi said that somebody ordered troops out and people were kidnapped. Till today, nobody in Nigeria knows what happened, and no question has been asked. And we are sitting down here as a parliament, and we turn and we talk. Yet, somebody is responsible. If I'm the commander-in-chief, I will call the army commander in that place and the head of the army and say, if you don't get me the head of this person who withdrew the troops to put all these children in jeopardy, then you make an example of him. That is how a country is run. A country is not run on pacification. A country is run on confronting issues. I rest my case.
A country is not run on pacification. It is run on addressing key issues. I think that is quite apt. Now, during his statement, he highlighted the KB incident where students were abducted, and earlier before that, I think that should be 45 minutes before that, the security operative that were present in the community were alerted that there will be an attack, and they all kind of, what should I call it? They what I'm trying to get the word. Everybody left the particular premises, and then minutes later there was an attack on the community, and up to today we are yet to hear who ordered that particular retrieval. Why is it that those security personnel didn't actually stay back to protect those citizens? And I'm still asking, Sharon, up to today we are yet to hear who gave the order. Let me get your take on his statement.
I think this is exactly what we need. People who ask the right questions, and I like in particular what he mentioned about the Chibok girl situation. This happened in 2014, and we've seen the rescue of, now I won't call it rescue now, the Kebbi girls, right, the 25 schoolgirls who were negotiated for in one way or the other. The government brought them out. We saw the Kwara church members, the 38 Kwara church members that the government rescued. I would still call it negotiation. Anyways, but what happens to the Chibok girls? Is this present administration not looking into the Chibok girls' abduction because it didn't happen during his own administration? I think that's the question we should be asking, because those Chibok girls were also girls girls, Nigerian girls, as much as those Kebbi girls that were rescued are. So I love that he came out to say this. Senator Abaribe came out to say this. I love that he did that, and also the fact that he just singled the Kebbi attack out, because this is something that I've also discussed on Morning Pulse. The fact that nobody has gotten clarity on what exactly happened that morning. Just 45 minutes before the Kebbi school girls were abducted, the army, the military were called off from that location, and immediately they were abducted. It just does not make any sense to me. That can't be a coincidence. There are still some irregularities with that particular story that I'm even yet to get clarity on as a person. So coming from the senator, I think they need to keep pressing on these questions until it is answered, so that we can know how we are moving forward from it and not continue circling at the same problem.
Now, going back to 2014, and when we talk about continuous governance, I think this present administration has actually wiped it off their mind that there was nothing, or there is nothing like Chibok girls abduction in 2014, and everybody is kind of relaxed, and it's quite sad that Nigerian actually happened to these girls, and the government is not even going to at any time attend or pay attention or even take actions against the abductors. But Senator Abaribe, he actually mentioned something during his speech. He talked about the fact that these lawmakers were actually being pressured not to talk, that they shouldn't speak against the insecurity in Nigeria. And why would exactly, he didn't mention who exactly, but why would somebody actually say do not speak about insecurity in Nigeria? Is there maybe something that we are yet to understand that is going on here?
You know, this is what people were complaining of when we saw the invite from the First Lady inviting the House, the Senate House, for a sumptuous dinner. That's actually tomorrow, yes, on a Friday, inviting them to a sumptuous dinner. And, you know, a lot of people call that a possibility or a platform for political lobbying. I just think having 109 senators over for a dinner by the First Lady just years before the 2027 election, barely 2 years before the 2027 elections, seeing that he has already started campaigning, if you look at it, is just really worrisome as well. So these are the things that we need to question. That's why when I had the Morning Pulse, I asked, do we think it is right for the public to be carried along when that particular meeting, or will I call it an event, happens tomorrow, just so that we understand the tone of the event, because there's a whole lot of insecurities going on within a few weeks. We have hunger, we have economic instability. So calling for a dinner to celebrate what exactly? What are we celebrating?
In Nigeria.
The death of the brigadier, the death of the priest, the death of the vice principal in Kebbi State. What exactly? Where is this call for celebration coming from? Is this an early dirty December in November? We really need to understand. Or are they being called so that they can have an informal meeting about the insecurity challenges that we're facing? I just think that the public deserves to know.
Exactly. Now, there is this trait of this present administration. There's this trait they have of always kind of blaming the former administration. They blamed the Goodluck administration. They blamed the Buhari administration of not curbing insecurity and a lot of economic instability. And there is this adage I'll just use for it. It's more like you don't learn. When you don't learn from the incidents of yesterday, you're living today to repeat the tears of today. And I just want to ask, why do they keep on every single time repeating that same trait of blaming the past administration instead of putting boots on ground and facing and tackling the economy that they are presently in, and this is their administration? Why do they keep pointing fingers?
You know, if there's any administration that I'm very shocked by the fact that they blame past administration, it would be the Tinubu-led administration. Because for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before he became president, he told us that he has had years of experience to practice being in the political space. He was once governor of Lagos State. He has been a huge political figure in Nigeria, and he told us that he was a master strategist and he's been in this game for way too long. Only for him to come now, and it's as though he is surprised, as though he has not been in Nigeria, he has not been living in Nigeria. He's surprised that we are in debt. He's surprised that we are hungry. He's surprised that there is no structure, there is hunger in the land. But if my memory serves me correctly, Tinubu is somebody that has been really close to the helm of affairs of this particular nation. So him coming out now to come and blame past administration, it just begs the question, what exactly were you prepared for? You're ruling the #1 seat in the nation. It comes with a lot of responsibilities and challenges, especially for a country as Nigeria. So I just think that this present administration pointing fingers at the past should look at the other fingers that is pointing right back at them.
Exactly. Now in Zanfara State, smiles and celebration fill the air as the government sponsored a mass wedding for 200 orphans and widows. Each bride received a dowry of 200,000 naira, household items and cash support to start a new life. Now, the initiative aimed at supporting vulnerable citizens has drawn both applause and questions, with some wondering whether marriage is the best form of empowerment for young girls in today's Nigeria. Let's take a look.
The wife of Zanfara State Governor Hurera Lawang, who is the ambassador of Zakat and Endowment Board, described the initiative as collective commitment to supporting the state's most vulnerable families. She emphasized that supporting newly married orphans with household items, settling their debts, and providing business startup opportunities will help them make sound financial decisions and open pathways for personal and economic growth.
This occasion highlights our collective commitment to supporting the most vulnerable in our communities: widows, orphans, needy families, and all those who require assistance to live with dignity. Under the administration of His Excellency, Governor Dauda Lawal, our state continues to prioritize the welfare programs that uplift our people and reduce hardship.
We married out 200 couples, 100 women and 100 men. So this one is part of the efforts and what the executive governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, is insisting, and that is why he is calling his government government of rescue, so that we can reduce the poverty in the state.
The ceremony concluded.
I think Nigeria will not cease to amuse me, to be honest. Now, how is marrying of 100 men and 100 women a form of empowerment for the youth? Now, one of these young girls that were actually married off at the age of 17 said that she would prefer to be married to school than living or being married to a certain man that she doesn't even have any prior information about. And I'm just going to ask you, how is this kind of empowerment for them?
I think this is where we're seeing religion playing a huge role. I think this is something that is fetched out of their practice, their belief, and they see the lady that talked about education. We know that majority of these girls, these northern girls, they don't get the support to go to school. They don't really practice that culture of sending their girl child to school, sponsoring their education. What they believe is in early marriage, getting married and settling down. So even for the Zamfara state government and for the families of these people, they feel like they have been done a huge favor. And this is just where it starts. So there's a whole lot of ties here. There's cultural, there's religious, which has affected political policies and decisions like we're seeing now. So I think that is the bane of the problem, right? The fact that you're using taxpayers' money to foster a value or a belief based out of culture, brought out of culture, or your religious belief, rather than putting that into really empowering people, shows that there are still governments, right, even with all the education and everything, that are still heavily influenced by religion and by culture, which I don't think it should be so.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the monetary aspect of it. They were giving 30,000 naira reward for the marriage, and then 200,000 naira worth of equipment, or rather furniture. They were giving furnitures, so we're giving I think bed and the rest of them. And how is this enough to sustain a home?
That's what I'm saying, right? When you want to do something, right, when you really have your heart, set out on doing something, it shows. You want to empower people. Let's even say you want to even get them married. You want to bring two people together to set them up for life, and you're giving them 30,000 naira. It shows you are not ready. It shows that you are not ready at all. Or it could also show that you're encouraging poverty, because you know how difficult it is in Nigeria, how things are bad here, and you're giving somebody 30,000. 30,000 that can't last a family a week. You're setting them up. Not in the northern side, things are cheaper. They're way cheaper. Now you are giving them 30,000 naira, setting them up for life, giving them equipment of 200,000 naira that they can't maintain. I just don't think, this is why I said their cultural belief has influenced heavily this particular decision that the Zanfara state government has made, and I just don't think, like I said earlier, it is right at all.
Yeah, it is quite sad that we keep on grazing the surface of the problems that we have instead of fixing the root cause of the problem. But let's move over to the last story for the day. In a major policy announcement, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed all herders nationwide to surrender illegal weapons and end open grazing. He urged a transition to ranching as the path to sustainable livestock farming and lasting peace. The directive comes alongside a nationwide security emergency, reflecting the administration's determination to curb banditry, kidnappings, and rural violence. Analysts say the success of this policy could reshape Nigeria's approach to herder-farmer conflicts. Now, it's more like maybe the president, to be honest, so people will say in the comment section, is waking up from his slumber. It's now that maybe he realized that this farmer herder, they've been a lot of clashes with communities and the rest of them, and it resulted to a lot of loss of livestock, loss of life and properties, and he has decided right now to maybe take the next step to see if there is positivity at the end of the day. But let me get your take on that new development.
I am not particularly excited about this development. Out of everything that I have heard recently, the changes that they have made, the Senate House wanting to make banditry a terrorist act, sentencing, giving a death penalty. I even liked that. Now, coming out to say you're withdrawing illegal weapons from these Fulani herdsmen after they've done so much, I just think it's a shame, right, to this administration, that it has taken the comments from another president talking about President Donald Trump for them to start making changes that seem as though they care, which I know for a fact that they do not. This is not the best time that they should have withdrawn illegal weapons. They should have done that a long time ago, and they shouldn't stop at withdrawing weapons. There should be punishment for these herdsmen that have inflicted harm and killed people, stolen lands because of open grazing.
Now, do you think that this particular policy right now will trigger resistance from the herders?
It will start from the Senate. A lot of northern senators who are going to oppose this, we are going to see more of that, because even now, when we heard about the order from the presidency to withdraw the 100 police officers from VIPs, we saw what happened, right? We saw Senator Wamako coming up, standing up and saying that it's going to make the VIPs soft targets for these bandits. So what I'm expecting now is to see the same thing again in the Senate. In the Senate House.
It's still that same Senate House. I don't know if you saw that over the news one time, that they were debating on making Carl's #1 citizen of Nigeria.
That's
so
why I
it's
said
not even far. Yes,
there.
exactly. It's not far from you know, this particular topic, but it's quite sad that we can't take the right initiative to change a lot of policies in Nigeria. It is quite sad, but I think this is where we are going to call it a wrap on Aside Hot the day this afternoon. However, you that is watching, please do not stop talking, do not stop asking the right questions, and do not stop protecting yourself and your loved ones. Now, from weddings and parliamentary debates to urgent calls for security reforms, stay tuned, stay informed. Like I said earlier, stay safe and join us in the evening for more updates across Nigeria. I am Ifoma Oji, and I did this alongside Sharon and Mchuku. Thank you, Sharon. Now, and if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, this is the right time to do that. If you're yet to follow us across all social media platforms, you can find us across all social media platforms at Active Citizens. So we'll see you in the evening for more updates. Thank you for watching.